Glad to have you join us. This is Nigeria Now on Ekwa Television International. We're live on Facebook and YouTube. Just do well to connect with us as we do this program together. Like always, I have my colleague, Joyce Jakada.
I'm happy to be here. Pleasant afternoon to you, Sambu Solomon. Good afternoon to our viewers out there.
Yeah, we're talking issues that Nigerians are worried about. You know, one, we have the issue of strike, which Johesu, you know, currently now are on strike. And then the federal government talking about how they will dialogue. You have, yesterday we had the labor leaders having a meeting with delegation of the federal government concerning the fuel subsidy. I think right now these are some of the issues now that Nigerians have been faced with, just few to mention. And I think today we will just narrow our discussion based on those few things, and then we see what the federal government are saying, what the labor are saying, and then to see how we prefer solution. Because we rightly said, you know, even in this program that, you know, so many things that this dispensation will inherit. You know, we had the issue of debt, you have the issue of strike, you have the issue of subsidy, whether to remove or not, who to remove, when and how, you know. But now the issue of subsidy, I think, is not an issue now, because already we saw how pump price, you know, have changed across states in Nigeria. But I want us to look at the issue of federal government meeting the health workers to discuss concerning the strike that is on.
Well, going by the inaugural speech of the president talking about Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you'll recall that he made mention of the fact that his administration will dialogue, will consult and not dictate, and probably maybe is in line with that we've seen meetings already ongoing. Yesterday there was one between the federal government and then, or would I say between the president and Mele Kyari, as well as the CBN governor, and it's probably in line with the inauguration speech that he talked about reducing interest rates, as well as saying that subsidy is over. There was like a meeting with these two personalities, and also the NLC president said the federal government reached out to him and they met, even though the meeting ended yesterday in deadlock. And again, we are seeing that FG is to meet, or are currently meeting with the health workers. And this is following the failure to reach an agreement in its last meeting. The federal government and the striking joint health sector union, talking about Johesu, have agreed to meet again today. And you will recall that it was on May 9th that the leadership of Johesu actually issued a 15-day ultimatum to the federal government over alleged inconsistency of the government in the ongoing negotiation to adjust the consolidated health salary structure for health workers on their platform. And then the organization, which served as the umbrella to health workers, unions and associations, noted that the government has shown tendencies to shift from their agreed terms and rules of engagement relating to the non-discriminatory in the determination of the wages and the benefit packages for health workers in Nigeria. So while highlighting all of these demands, the unions called for that the federal government to consolidate health worker structure, salary, and as agreed in September 2017. And they also said this had lingered to since 2014. And they urged the government to do something immediately, especially as regards the allowances of health workers under the aegis of Johesu as well as AHP. And they said the immediate implementation of consultants cadre circular for pharmacists in all federal health institutions. And then other demands that Johesu made include payment of all withheld salaries of its members in federal medical centers in Owerri, Jos University Teaching Hospital, Lagos State, and then withheld April and May salaries in 2018. This is just few amongst many other demands that Johesu is actually making. And you will recall that this is not the first time that we are seeing all of this strike. But the question always is that why would you assent to something that you know at the end of the day it will be difficult for you to meet? Because some of these agreements spanned from 2014, 2017, and we're still talking about it. And it's 1 week after since Joe had declared strike. And you recall that before the strike, they had meeting, but it ended in deadlock. And that is why federal government is still meeting striking health workers in a nation with over 200 million people. You're having joint health sector union going on strike. What becomes of the health of the citizens of the country? That's really a sad one. What in a time where they are not even on strike, what people kept complaining about facilities, availability of medicines, among every other issue. Then now these people are going for strike for a week. Now, what happens to the people that are critically sick, people that cannot afford private hospital, among all of these? And other demands that is, like I said earlier, with health salaries and then adjustment of retirement age from 60 to 65, and the exclusion of some health workers in the payment of new hazard allowance, as well as payment of COVID-19 allowance balance. We're talking about 2020, we're in 2023. And these people have not been paid. And when you check politicians, you look at the budget, the humongous amount that is being given for allowances, wardrobe allowance, and all this furniture, amongst many others. We're talking about health workers. These are things that Nigerians have been calling upon, that even from the budget, what is their allocation? Sometimes you see 4%, 5%. And that is why we keep going up, like back and forth with all of these agreements and demands, because the allocation can barely meet the salaries. Talk more of ensuring that facilities and structures are in place. So I think we need to do more. We need to prioritize the health of people. In a country where malaria is an issue, we have a lot of people dying of malaria. When it comes to cancer, tuberculosis, amongst many others. We know individuals have been trying to see how that they can help. The government too have tried to see how they can partner with other people. But what happens when the health workers are on strike? So we are hoping that this meeting that the federal government is currently having with this joint health worker sector is going to be fruitful. Unlike the one we saw yesterday, Nigerians were hopeful that at the end of the meeting between the federal government and then their NLC, there's going to be an outcome that will ease the pain. As at yesterday, we were talking about 48 hours of untold pain, just after the pronouncement by the president. And no wonder a lot of people kicked against such pronouncement. You should have consulted, you should have talked with all the stakeholders. But immediately after the pronouncement, during the inauguration, most of these independent marketers just shoot up their prices. And then people were going into panic buying, filling station queues. In fact, I watched the video yesterday, Sambo Solomon, someone fighting. They were fighting at the queue at the filling station and all of that. And what's the essence? I keep asking every day, what's the essence of governance? Is it to make life easy for the people or bring about untold hardship? It was this during this recent New Naira policy that we saw how that a lot of people have died, cut across different states in the countries. I think we should be mindful of methodologies. So most of these policies that we keep talking about, in itself, it's not bad. But what are the methodology of executing these policies? We disregard process and we just go into pronouncement without taking everybody along. When everybody and then all this process are put into consideration, we won't be having all of these issues. So I think dialogue is key, just like the president said, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said, dialogue, consultation is going to be good. Let's not be seeing like some cases of individuals dictating, bringing untold hardship to Nigerians, but consulting, checking the process, looking at methodologies, policies that are good to the people. Let's see how that will bring it to bear in a way that it will not bring untold hardship. And that is why the issue of the fuel subsidy, as good as it is, because I always emphasize that the conversation is not even about the fuel subsidy, because this is what a lot of people have maintained, that it should be removed long before now, because it is just for the benefit of few individuals. But right now, like we said, it's going to have effect on transportation and even other commodities. Right now, the Nigerians are paying for all of that. So what do we have in place to cushion that effect? That you can tell a common man on the street that it is for your own good that the first subsidy is being removed. As it is right now, when you go to the street and tell them it's actually for your own good, you might be stoned, because they will tell you how. if they don't feel the impact in other sector, then they will not appreciate it. We are currently talking about strike of the Joint Health Sector Union. So I just hope that when we come up with policies, we will ensure that the methodologies are actually going to cushion the effect of such policy. We know that when you are going for development or developmental strike, is not without some of these pains and hardship. But let's ensure that we bring about things that will cushion the effect of such. So we hope that at the end of this meeting is going to yield a positive result so that people can be able to access health care facilities.
Well, like you say, we just have to be hopeful because, you know, I was so shocked and surprised that, you know, this thing we're talking about, you know, allowances, bonuses, name them, that, you know, is an agreement between the federal government since 2014. 2014 till date. You know, we are talking about issue of allowances, you know, unpaid salaries and the rest. That's an eyesore. You know, and like you asked this question, and it's a vital question that we need answers. Nigerians need answer. What is the essence of governance? Is it to make life easy or to make life difficult? And that's the question. You know, why is it that the federal government will say, like they always say, because I don't believe that that's the language they understand. If that's the language they understand, from 2014, can you count the number of strikes that this health workers embarked on? Then by now we should not be talking about this. Then that means there should be a positive result for that. But if all this was, me and you were here talking about the doctors, you know, going on strike, you know, we are here seeing some foreign countries, you know, like registering our doctors that they want to, and we saw how federal government came and then they scattered the whole place, that they are not going. And you ask, is the environment conducive for even the doctors? For the health workers, the nurses, all of these people? You see, these two sectors are very key, education and health. Once you take that from a country, that means you deprive the masses from one key part of their life. Because if you talk about health, these people that are in governance, and I always say, it's not that they can afford, but they are using the taxpayers' money and enjoy the benefit of those offices they are occupying, and they take care of their family.
Sample Solomon, what are the people at the rural area asking for? These are people that live as far, like some of these people, the only thing they are asking for, can we have accessible road? Can we have healthcare facilities? Can we have schools? Can we have all of these? And what will it take for a government to provide the basic for these people? In some of these rural areas, they don't even have private hospital. If you think in the urban cities, people will have access to private hospital. In some of these rural areas, they don't even have access to private hospital. You want to take your child out from that village to the town. Do you know that you can, like, that person can just die on the way because of the distance? Not like these people have accessible roads. The least that you can do for them is to ensure that the healthcare system there is actually working. And that's why I said I'm hopeful. I'm just hopeful that this meeting is going to yield result. Because if you don't treat the welfare of your workers, if you don't make it sacrosanct, then at the end of the day, you won't expect much from them. But we are hoping that this government, this administration is going to look into this issue and see how that they can resolve all of these problems so that we don't keep going back and forth with issues of strike.
We want to see them acting different, of course. Yeah, we have to be hopeful. Fuel subsidy, NNPC reveal new fuel price nationwide, you know, and I can see how people are really, really complaining about this, because I bought I took a cab yesterday, and then both the passenger and the driver are complaining, like complaining bitterly, because of the sudden change. You know, some people left home without like proper planning on how the transportation fare would be, and then in the morning they were buying at 350. Then later in the afternoon, it was 700, 600, and thereabout. So people coming back from office, you know, in the evening was just an issue, and you hear people like complaining bitterly.
Well, following the speech inaugural speech of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu of saying that fuel subsidy is gone, of course, there was immediate reaction, especially by independent marketers. And then that is why no wonder the PRO Yakubu said about 100 of them have been sealed already, sanctioned, because of the fact that most of these products that they had already were already subsidized, but they decided to hike the price. And what Nigerians experienced as well was hoarding of this product. Well, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, talking about the NNPC, said they have enough for Nigerians, so people should not go into panic buying and all of that. But the problem was, like, some people were selling from 195 per liter. You see people selling from 250 down to even 600, 650, 700, depending on the location you find yourself. But this morning, the NNPC have actually announced the new prices cut across different states. So NNPCL has jacked up the pump price of petrol, talking about PMS, by over 200% of the 195. The price of petrol between 488 to 557 per liter, and this is already on the screen, and you can see for Abuja, the state capital, at the FCT we have 195, which is the old price, and then as of 2023 June 1st, it's now selling at 537. Lafia, Nasarawa State capital, from 185. It's being sold for 537. Same thing with Jos, Plateau State as well. And then when you go down to Ilorin, you see from 189, it's now selling as 515. Kogi, you have from 189 to 537. Same thing with Makurdi and then Mina. On the other side, Yola has a little difference with the other state, from 199 per liter to 550. Jalingo, Taraba, from 199 per liter to 550. Same thing with Bauchi, Gombe. And then going to Maiduguri with from 199 to 557. Same thing with Damaturu. When you go down to Kano, it's Kano, Kaduna, and Katsina. From 194 is being sold now at 550. And these are some of the prices, the changes as announced by NNPCL. And like I said earlier on, these prices have been jacked by over 200%. And of course, you expect a lot of reactions, like, wow. I was just seeing how that some people just stop tricycle or cab, and they were just told, oh, you're paying this, and the person will just drop down. In fact, the crowd I saw going on Legady's Benz, if you understand that, just trekking, you can just tell that, oh, what's the meaning of this? Some will tell you that this price of petroleum is being hiked. It has effects now on transportation as well as commodities, and then is also affecting, they'll tell you, with a stagnated income or salary, you are having all of that. And then just like we saw on the screen, other states like Dutse, Birnin Kebbi, Gusau, we're seeing Dutse with 540 as well. For Birnin Kebbi, from 194 to 545 per liter. Gusau has 540, sells from 194. And Umahia from 189 to 515. Same thing with Owerri. Oka in Anambra from 189 to 520. And it sells the same price at Enugu. And then for Ebonyi, it's selling at 520 as well. Rivers from 189 to 511 per liter. And for Akwa Ibom and Bayelsa,
you know, even one thing that I noticed, Joyce, you see, the prices is according to the zones that we have. The 6 geopolitical zone. Now we're talking South-South. Even in South-South, you can see how, you know, the prices, you know, differs, because we have 511, you know, in Cross River, Edo, and then Delta. But in Rivers is Akwa Ibom is 515. You understand? Then we have Southwest. Southwest in Lagos, you have 488. And then you have Abeokuta, that's Ogun, you know, 500. You have Ibadan, 500. And then Osogbo, that's Osun, 500. So, but what's the calculation?
A lot of Nigerians will ask that question, why the variation in these different states? And going by that template, you will notice that Lagos State has the least price of 488 per litre as the new pump price as announced by NNPC, while Maiduguri and Damaturu have the highest pump price of 577 per litre.
Because of the allocation.
And like you said earlier on, these prices range from different geopolitical zone in Nigeria. But interestingly, the NLC rejected that and called on the federal government to ensure that it speaks to NNPC to reverse that. They deployed the announcement of the new regime of prices for petroleum products by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, and it describes the NNPCL action as an ambush to the ongoing meeting of the stakeholders in the oil and gas sector to resolve the issue of fuel subsidy removal by the federal government. Like I said yesterday, there was a meeting between the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the NLC, and of course it ended in deadlock, but there are expectations that, oh, more sittings should be done and all of that, but while the
they are continuing the sitting today.
While the meeting ended in deadlock yesterday, we saw NNPC this morning making this announcement. So as far as the Labour Congress through its President Joe Ajero are concerned, is that the move is just get towards is just some forms of ambush, and thereby they call on the federal government to actually ensure that they speak or intercede on this whole issue. So we just hope that at the end of the day, it's not just about some few individuals, but the general interest of Nigerians. Like I said earlier on, that if we don't have control of market prices, control the inflation that is already Nigerians are faced with, amongst many other issues, this fuel subsidy removal would rather increase all of that. So let's have some forms of cushioning in other sectors so that Nigerians will not feel the pain as much. And let's ensure that governance is about the people, not about some forms of personal interest or trying to meet some individuals' needs at the detriment of the whole country. So we hope that all the meetings between the federal government and the NLC, as well as the federal government and the JOHESU, Joint Health Sector Union, is going to yield positive results, because the common man, that's where his hope lies. So let's ensure that the needful is being done at the end of the day.
Yeah, I listened to the NLC president, you know, he was asking this question and it's critical. He said the budget for fuel subsidy is to end June ending, not beginning of June. He said, what happened to the provision of that fuel subsidy in June?
Because as from the last budget, the 2022 budget that was submitted for ahead of 2023, 3.6 million naira was budgeted to cover for fuel subsidy from between January to June. But again, we're already seeing this taking effect from 1st of June, even though Mele Kyari, the managing director of the NNPC, is talking about the fact that federal government owns NNPC about 2.8 trillion naira for fuel subsidy. But of course, people are wondering if the provision of the 3.6 million naira in the 2023 budget is to cover up from January and June, why do we have this effecting? We'll follow up this story to ensure that all these questions are being answered.
So that money the federal government is owing, so they are going to deduct it from this increase that is supposed to be for June, that the budget cover. That's what Nigerians are asking. You know, sometimes when you talk, you expect Nigerians to dissect, you know, what you are saying, you know, so that they will see if you are saying this and they are listening to you, definitely they will look at it, okay, what about this? And well, that's Nigeria for you. And then we're hoping, like you said, we're watching and we're following keenly. Whatever the development, definitely will come here and discuss. And
just to correct, 3.6 trillion naira, not million naira.
No million, yeah,
yes,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's to cover for January to June 2023 for subsidy. So where is it that today NNPC has announced the new pump price of from 488 to 577?
We hope that the right people will answer that question. Thank you, Joyce, for doing this
Always
with me.
a pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you so much for giving us your time, and we pray that tomorrow we'll still do this together, same station, same time. So just keep your comments coming. We appreciate that. Thank you, and God bless you.